Thank you for joining us for CBN Newswatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Major progress on Capitol Hill. The Senate passed a budget Thursday night. Now both the House and Senate can focus on tax reform and hopefully get a bill to the president's desk by the end of the year. CBN's Jenna Browder has the story now from Washington.
The stage is set for tax reform on Capitol Hill after the Senate pushed through a $4 trillion budget last night. Republicans want to completely overhaul the U.S. tax code, including cutting rates for individuals and corporations, and at the same time eliminating trillions of dollars of deductions and special interest tax breaks.
The President and I believe that the tax code's too complicated. Maybe some of you agree.
Vice President Mike Pence touting tax reform in New York.
Truth is that the American people spend millions of hours and billions of dollars filling out our taxes every year, and I'm anxious to hear if people around this table have that feeling as well. Under the President's plan, 90% of the American people will be able to file their taxes on one piece of paper without professional help.
But divisions within the GOP could hold up the process. Appearing on CBN's online political show, Faith Nation, Senator Marco Rubio stressed the importance of getting something done. How concerned are you that the GOP could lose the majority in the midterms?
I think if we don't do what we said we were going to do, people have a right to ask themselves, well, why do we need you there? And it's frustrating as someone who has supported all these things to see one or two people standing in the way of us actually doing. Hopefully that'll change with tax reform. Democrats
blasted the GOP budget, saying it will shower benefits on top bracket earners, corporations, business partnerships, and people inheriting multi-million-dollar estates.
But I think it is terribly important, and I really do appeal to the media, to allow for a serious discussion on what I consider to be the cruelest and most unfair budget presented by the majority party in the modern history of this country.
We beat the Trump healthcare scam twice, and we're going to beat him a third time on his tax scam.
President Trump promises the tax plan, which is still being finalized, is aimed at helping the middle class.
And frankly, I think we have the votes for the tax cuts, which will follow fairly shortly thereafter.
All told, Senate Republicans would cut spending by more than $5 trillion over a decade, though it's unclear where the cuts would come from. It's a heavy lift to pass tax reform by the end of the year, but if Congress can do it, this would be the first bill of its kind passed since 1986 under President Reagan. In Washington, Jenna Browder, CBN News.
Members of Congress are demanding answers 2 weeks after an ambush in the African nation of Niger that killed 4 U.S. soldiers. U.S. troops were ambushed by 50 heavily armed ISIS fighters, and the body of LaDavid Johnson wasn't found for 2 days. The Pentagon wants to know if military leaders missed any warning signs. And Senator John McCain, chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee, wants answers too. McCain says the White House is not being upfront about what happened during that ambush. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis has promised to provide accurate information as soon as it is available. Chief of Staff John Kelly is defending President Trump's phone call to the widow of Green Beret LaDavid Johnson. He was killed by ISIS terrorists in Niger. It was an emotional debriefing as Kelly addressed a silent press corps. He opened up about the loss of his own son, who was killed in 2010 when he stepped on a landmine in Afghanistan.
My son's case in Afghanistan, when he died, he was surrounded by the best men on this earth, his friends. That's what the president tried to say to 4 families.
Kelly went on to call Representative Frederica Wilson of Florida a, quote, empty barrel who makes noise, but he did not deny the lawmaker's account of the phone call. He even echoed the same words she credited to the president, saying LaDavid knew what he was getting into. Just south of San Diego, we're getting an early glimpse at what President Trump's proposed border wall might look like. Our national security correspondent Eric Rosales shows us the prototype of what could eventually run along the U.S.-Mexico border.
Despite ongoing debate, work continues on a construction project to build a border wall in Otay Mesa, a community just outside of San Diego. 6 companies are vying for a major construction contract. The companies have just 30 days to build a total of 8 prototypes. Designs must also meet specific requirements.
Anti-climbing, anti-digging, anti-scaling. They're going to have to be safe for the Border Patrol agents that work the area.
Agent Eduardo Olmos wouldn't break down the company's tactics, but you can clearly see spikes on at least one model. Another includes a bit of a slant, and this one contains an anti-climbing texture.
4 of them will be concrete, the other 4 will be other than concrete.
The massive prototypes will be 30 feet high and 30 feet wide. The fact that each one is isolated gives them a towering appearance. The cost is between $300,000 to $500,000 each. Since the final design is yet to be chosen, exact estimates aren't available. A Homeland Security internal report estimates the wall could cost more than $21 billion, and that doesn't include the cost to maintain it. Maintenance of the current fencing runs around $55 million a year.
Build a wall, build a wall, build a wall, build a wall.
A centerpiece for the president's campaign to make America great again, the wall has sparked a lot of controversy. Still, the concept is nothing new. Olmos says before the wall was built along the sector near San Diego in the early 1990s, around 600,000 people were arrested in just 1 year. He says the current wall has made a difference, but it can be improved.
Unfortunately, those actually just sit on the ground, and rudimentary tunnels can actually be dug underneath them very easily.
Ironically, the prototype construction comes at a time when border crossings are down. According to the Office of Immigration Statistics, people attempting to illegally cross any state along the U.S. border are unsuccessful 55 to 85% of the time. Yet assaults on Border Patrol agents in the same sector number 83 this year. That's an increase over last year when 52 assaults occurred, but nowhere near the peak in 2008 when agents recorded 377 assaults. How will the prototypes be tested? Homeland Security tells me that's a secret. The agency did tell CBN News the prototypes will be tested by teams on which ones are hardest to scale, dig under, and break through. And it will not be done in the public's eye. Eric Rosales, CBN News, Washington.
Fighting ISIS, see what's being done to shut down the terror organization in the Philippines. We've got that story for you coming up next right here on CBN Newswatch. Stay with us. A U.S.-backed Syrian force has declared victory over the Islamic State group in the city of Raqqa. Kurdish-led forces say that means there is no ISIS fighters in the city. The Kurdish fighters handed the city over to local officials and tribal leaders at a news conference held inside the city Friday. The fall of Raqqa marks a major defeat for the Islamic State. The group has seen its territory steadily shrink since last year. In the southern Philippines, the battle against ISIS could be over in just a few days. Philippine forces are completing their final push to retake Marawi City. In a major blow to the terrorist group, 2 of their top commanders have been killed. Asia correspondent Lucille Toulousan has more.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby declare Marawi City liberated from the terrorist influence that marks the beginning of rehabilitation of the city.
Philippine President Duterte made the announcement of victory after key militant leaders Isnilon Hapilon, leader of ISIS in Southeast Asia, and Omar Maute of the Maute terrorist clan were killed in an assault by government forces. Although there are still 20 to 30 ISIS-linked terrorists holed up in the city, military officials say they have weakened because they lost their top leaders. The fighting dragged on for nearly 5 months and killed more than 1,000 people, including more than 800 extremists and some 160 soldiers and policemen. Philippine troops continue to pursue the armed elements and rescue the remaining hostages, while clearing operations are also being done to ensure the safety of the returning residents.
God has been very good to us. We know that we can strengthen our security if each and every Filipino will be a participant and a committed one in the security of our country.
The war has turned the once bustling city of Marawi into rubble and has displaced its more than 400,000 residents.
It will take a much longer time before Marawi residents can go back to their normal lives. But in this period of rebuilding, CBN Humanitarian is committed to help.
We're here to transform the people's lives, one individual, one family, and eventually a community. First, we fed them, and then we started to help them out with relief. We started to do medical missions with them. We centered our focus on these families alone. We started giving some livelihood. We will be training people to make hollow blocks so that they can rebuild their homes, rebuild their city.
CBN Humanitarian is helping with the feeding programs and zones where the children undergo trauma counseling and are taught the importance of living in peace. Contrary to the ISIS-inspired plan to establish an Islamic State in Marawi, God has used the war to make the city more open to Christianity as the people experience the love and care of Christians in their time of need. Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Marawi.
Up next, investigating anti-Christian bias in government. See what's being done to fight against the practice. Next. The Constitution forbids a religious litmus test for people who want a position in government. Even so, a growing number of political appointees have been questioned and even attacked over their religious beliefs. As Charlene Aaron reports, many people have had enough and they're speaking out.
This past summer, Senator Bernie Sanders grilled President Trump's nominee to become deputy director of the White House Office of Management and Budget over comments he made about Muslims. In a conservative blog, Russell Vaught, an evangelical Christian, defended Wheaton College for forcing out a professor who said Christians and Muslims worship the same God.
I'm a Christian, and I wrote that piece.
Well, what does that say?
With the statement of faith of Wheaton College.
I understand that. I don't know how many Muslims there are in America. I really don't know. Probably a couple of million. Are you suggesting that all of those people stand condemned? What about Jews? They stand condemned too?
Senator, I'm a Christian.
I understand you are a Christian, but this country is made up of people who are not just. I understand that Christianity is the majority religion, but there are other people who have different religions in this country and around the world.
The attack against Vaught shows just how tense the political environment has become for people of faith and the danger of using religion as a litmus test for public office.
Christians are being discriminated against, and this is the hypocrisy of liberalism. Those who cry the loudest for tolerance are usually the most intolerant people when it comes to ideas with which they disagree.
Following Vaught's confirmation hearing, Dallas pastor Robert Jeffress demanded Sanders apologize or resign.
Bernie Sanders took issue with this nominee's belief that faith in Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven. That is the foundation of biblical Christianity for 2,000 years. And Senator Sanders started to lecture this nominee and said he wasn't sure he could vote for him.
Jeffress, a member of the president's Evangelical Advisory Council, says Sanders also crossed a constitutional line.
Article 6 of the Constitution says government cannot impose a litmus test, a religious litmus test for service. Now, you and I as voters can use any litmus test we want, but government can't impose that. And that's why I said Senator Sanders needs to apologize for what he said or he needs to resign.
And the mistreatment didn't end with Vaught. In September, Senator Dianne Feinstein applied her own religious test to federal appeals court nominee Amy Coney Barrett. Barrett, a law professor at Notre Dame and a practicing Catholic, felt pressured to explain how her religious beliefs might affect her legal decisions. Feinstein specifically referenced a 2006 graduation speech where Barrett made several references to God, saying, "No matter how exciting any career is, what is it really worth if you don't make it part of a bigger life project to know, love, and serve the God who made you?" She also encouraged graduates, pray about your career choices before you make them.
When you read your speeches, the conclusion one draws is that the dogma lives loudly within you. And that's of concern when you come to big issues that large numbers of people have fought for years.
Conservative author and radio host Eric Metaxas calls what amounts to a religious test troubling.
To me, the idea that U.S. senators are this ignorant about this incredibly, utterly central element in American freedom, I find frightening, and it should be a wake-up call to everybody.
He believes acts like this must be called out by all sides.
And Americans should not allow leaders to not understand this. You can have different views of faith or whatever, but when you don't understand that that is sacrosanct, in America for 240 years, we have said, you never go there. You don't, that is pure bigotry.
While liberals might consider their actions as just political posturing, Metaxas sees the problem as much more serious.
When Senator Feinstein did this recently, I thought, she actually thinks that what she's saying is okay. She thinks it's just politics. It's not just politics. It's fundamentally unconstitutional.
Meanwhile, Jeffress says the problem is likely to get worse.
But I don't believe that is the call for fatalism. And I see that in too many Christians. They just throw up their hands. It's all going to, go to hell in a handbasket. Let's just get in our holy huddles and try to encourage one another and hope nobody does anything bad to us. That is not what Christians need to be doing. We are to be on the offense.
Metaxas says the best way to do that is through prayer.
We need to pray against this. This is not God's will. It's God's will that everybody be genuinely free. And we need to pray hard that in this nation, this would be preserved.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
In all things, the Bible calls on us to pray. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The 48th Annual Dove Awards happened this week. Worship singer Carrie Job hosted the show. The Garden album was nominated for Best Album and won a Dove Award for Album Packaging. I recently caught with her fresh off the Dove Award stage during her garden tour. So you took home an award as well.
Yeah, I did. My album packaging, so my album cover and everything, won a Dove Award. That's the first time to win a Dove for the packaging, so it was kind of a cool thing for me.
Now be sure to check out our exclusive interview with Carrie and her husband Cody Carnes on the next episode of Studio 5. You won't want to miss that one. Another Bible story is soon to be an epic big screen movie. The story of Samson is headed to theaters, and we have this exclusive preview.
Stories of possibilities. And hope. Hope is rebellion. Samson of the tribe of Dan, chosen by the living God, gifted with his power to be his hand of vengeance.
The film is a Boomtown Films and PureFlix production that will hit theaters in February. You can watch the full preview at cbnnews.com. If you are looking for some family-friendly entertainment this weekend, we've got a helpful movie review from our friends at Plugged In Online. This week, they check out Same Kind of Different as Me.
There's a lot of messed up things in this world. Plenty of stuff I just don't understand.
The movie Same Kind of Different as Me focuses on Ron and his wife Debbie, a couple whose art business has really taken off, but their marriage isn't doing so well. Then one day, Debbie has a strange dream. In it, she sees her husband befriending a homeless man, not just donating time or money, but actually becoming the friend of a very specific man. And so they begin helping out at a homeless shelter. But the man in her dreams is nowhere to be found.
What's your name?
You don't need to know my name.
Well, I'd like to know your name.
Then one day, here comes Denver, a hulking, violent man with a chip on his shoulder a mile wide. And Debbie reports that he's the man she saw in her dream. But he sure doesn't look like the I need a friend type.
You want to be my friend? Uh-huh. Well, I'm going to have to think about that.
What's more, soon thereafter, Debbie is diagnosed with a life-threatening illness. Wouldn't it be better to just forget the whole dream and what might happen and concentrate on what needs to happen? Based on true events, this film is packed with a number of positive messages about helping the marginalized, walking through family trauma, and ignoring racial and class divides. On the other hand, there is marital infidelity and some violence in the mix, though neither is glamorized in any fashion. So I'm giving the inspirational Same Kind of Different as Me 4 soup ladles out of 5 for family friendliness. For an in-depth review of this film or anything else at your local box office, be sure to check out PluggedIn.com. Plugging you into the movies, I'm Bob Waliszewski for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
It is time for your Friday Faithful, and I pray you will take this word into your weekend. You make plans and take time to prepare for them, but it is God who has the final say. He knows what's best, and His plans are always greater and best for you. With that word, be sure to make this a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you right back here come Monday. Goodbye, everybody, and God bless.